Hey everybody, it's Steve here and welcome to another video from Mush Smoke Co. So, today's video is going to be about why cooking is important to me. It's not only about forming a community with this cannery operation and helping out small business owners. My passion is cooking, and my passion is cooking for several very important reasons. The first, it's probably my favorite thing to do. I love to cook. It's some of my earliest and fondest family memories all revolve around being in the kitchen and cooking with family and friends. In my opinion, that's the easiest way to show somebody you love them is to cook for them, to nourish them, mind, body, and soul. The third reason is by cooking your own food, you limit your exposure to the toxic chemicals that pervade the food system here in the U.S. So let's talk about family. So for me, I learned to cook from my grandmother and my father predominantly. My grandmother, who I grew up with, would cook every meal was cooked by my grandmother, or every weekday meal was cooked by my grandmother, and she was a great Irish cook. So it was all corned beef and cabbage, but pot roast pork loin and roast potatoes, all that sort of like just good old family, good old fashioned home style cooking. Whereas my father and I would watch cooking shows as a bonding experience, and then go in the kitchen and cook. So we were always experimenting with new things and new flavors and different cooking shows and techniques and all these different things. It's one of the oldest human things that you can do is to cook your food, and that in itself is always, if you think back, hunter-gatherer societies, everybody's around the hearth, everybody's gathering food and cooking food together. It's a way to build community and family and connection and love, and to be in service to your family and your friends. And that's why if you've ever been to one of my potlucks or a pig roast or something like that, I really take that side of cooking food seriously. It really is, for me, about the love and about building community in that way. But the most important thing, I think, for Americans in general, and I'm going to focus on Americans here because I'm an American, and I view the world through that prism. I think we've drifted from that. The Leave It to Beaver style family interactions of the 50s and 60s are gone. And it's been replaced by a fast food society where people are buying either fast food or frozen foods or pre-made foods and all these different avenues that rob you of the experience of cooking and sharing and bonding in the kitchen. So for me, that's what it's about. And that's something I realized was missing in the videos that I put up earlier. I was talking about building a community of farmers, which is great, but I want you guys to also realize that when you're buying the spices, I'm doing that so that you guys cook with your spices that you're buying. I want you guys to experience the connection that comes from making a meal with your children, or making a meal with your spouse, your partner, or some friends you invite over for a bottle of wine and some food. So that's where I start that. But for Americans, I think the worst part of that drift is the chemicals that are in our food right now. Our processed food industry comes up with all of these different chemicals in order to mimic as close as they can what would have been a fresh meal. But all of that comes at a price. So I encourage you, next time you're looking at a thing of product food, a package of product food, try looking up some of those different stabilizers or chemicals that are listed in the food. It's going to be the words that aren't like wheat or eggs or dairy, milk, sugar. It's all those other words that nobody can pronounce. I forget the comic who said it, but somebody said if you can't pronounce something on a label, you probably shouldn't be eating it. Look those up in the internet and look up their safety data sheet. One of the things you're going to find is that a lot of them are mucosal irritants. So what that means is that they irritate mucous membranes. Well, it might be a surprise to you guys, but your mouth and all the way through your digestive tract, right? It's a mucosal interface throughout your entire body. So when you're eating things that inflame mucous membranes, you're inflaming your entire, your gums, your tongue, your throat, your esophagus, your intestines. The inside of your intestines are lined with what's called microvilli, and they're like little finger projections that stick out into your intestines, and they're absorbing all your nutrients, and it uses surface area. Okay, so you can see that my hands have a lot of surface area. But if they were to swell and turn into like mittens, now you have a situation where the surface area is drastically reduced. If you have drastically reduced surface area through inflammation, you're going to be absorbing less nutrients. If you're absorbing less nutrients, your body is going to be hungry all the time. We are designed in our bodies and our chemistry to associate calories with nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. But as we all know, this is just not the case in our modern food system. So what ends up happening is you eat food, it irritates your intestines, you don't absorb your minerals and vitamins and nutrients as well as you should. Your brain says, oh, I'm still hungry. You eat more. But the food that you're eating has more of those same chemicals. It's a vicious cycle, and what ends up happening is that you're constantly eating, constantly hungry, and it causes most Americans to gain weight and become obese. And I don't think this is a shock to anybody that if you look back since the 50s, you've seen this vast increase in obesity in the U.S. So that's a general statement about food additives being mucosal irritants and things of that nature. But let's also look at what some of these chemicals are. Right? The preservatives are there to kill bacteria, kill fungi, kill any of the bugs that might be in there, and you can see how this could be a problem. Or maybe you don't. I'm a molecular biologist through schooling. I have degrees in biochemistry and a graduate degree in molecular biology. And I can tell you that at the molecular level, there's very, very little difference between a bacteria and a fungi and you. If there's a chemical that's going to kill bacteria, through their metabolism, it's going to affect you through your mitochondria, right? Your mitochondria are pretty much a symbiotic bacteria that lives inside your cells to provide energy. And that is a obvious, that similarity at the molecular level causes a lot of troubles when you start eating a lot of preserved food. The Sandy Mush Smoke Co. isn't just about trying to start this cannery operation to help support local farmers and also to create a business around one of my favorite passions. It's really about you guys. I really want you guys to have the best hot sauces, jams, jellies, pickles, and spice blends so that you can start finding the passion and connection and love of cooking and sharing and bonding with your family and your friends. If you don't know how to cook, come back to this page on the Sandy Mush Smoke Co. YouTube site. I'm going to start a YouTube cooking show using the spice blends that I'm making. So I'll give you ideas on how to use these spice blends. So like the Panama Red spice blend is kind of like a taco seasoning, but you can use it for a number of different seasonings. And I'll show you how all the different seasonings can be used for many different things. Again, the hash blends were all developed kind of just to make breakfast hash in the morning, but the Moroccan hash blend can be used to make Moroccan stewed chicken with chickpeas, which is one of my favorite things to cook in the winter. And I can just run through a gamut of different recipes that pretty much anybody can do with little technique, and just using the pre-made spices that I have, or go out and find your own spice blends. So thanks for watching, and I just want to show you real fast. Here's one of our latest mock-ups. I don't know if that's coming through real well, but there's the Maui Wowie label, and this is probably going to be the size of the bottles that we're going to be shipping out. These are about 2.5 ounces. Here's the Thai stick label. And again, this is just as I'm starting to size it and get it ready for the stickers that I'm going to be buying. So in closing, again, just remember that food is medicine, cooking is love, and I just want you guys to experience the joys of sharing a meal and cooking a meal together with some friends and family and some loved ones. So hope you guys got something out of this. Please find the Kickstarter. It's called Sandy Mush Smoke Co. And $2,000 is the goal. That's what I need to launch this thing. And I hope you can help me get to my goal. And at the same time, build some connection with your family and friends and some loved ones and your children. So thanks a lot, and bye, guys.